after the show, I'm going to drive up to go spend Saturday because they're all doing this whole neighborhood thing with Buzz Lightyear and if anybody looks at my Facebook post, Buzz Lightyear and what do we call him? Shark Girl.
Oh, Shark Girl.
Yeah. My two grandkids, our two grandkids, and there's a whole thing going on in the neighborhood up there in Norwalk, and I decided to take the weekend off and go spend it with my grandkids.
Friday, Keith Smith driving to Connecticut.
Yeah. Okay, Captain Obvious.
I'll tell you what, you obviously love your grandkids and your
not
family.
wearing Captain Obvious socks today.
Because I know how you feel about the driving.
Oh, yeah. But I'll have Forrest, our four-legged son.
Oh, Forrest will be in the car.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So Forrest and I will have a conversation. It's about the level of my intelligence anyway.
Forrest is a well-traveled pooch.
You know what?
He lives the good life for us.
You know what? If there's such a thing as reincarnation, when I come back, I want to come back as
Forrest.
As Forrest.
As Forrest,
in the Smiths family.
The Hound Rescue.
Yeah.
Is he a hound?
Yeah, he's
You know what Patty calls him, right? American classics.
It's an American classic, much like us. You're 100% Cuban, though, right?
My mom is. I'm 50% Cuban.
Oh, so you are.
And my dad is German American. He's very much a mutt.
I did not realize.
My mom, purebred, full blood Cubano.
It's got to have some temper.
Oh,
Jesus! I only can imagine.
Whoa.
My mother.
Worst temper I've ever seen is my mother's.
Oh yeah, sure. My
terrifying.
Absolutely. My father is a retired New York City fireman. Big Irish guy. It's not him I feared when I was growing up. It was my mother. If she started gritting, she watches too. She told me to not tell this story, so I won't tell it about her ironing my face, threatening to iron my face.
I think this is the third time he has told this story.
I will not tell this story.
Smith.
I will not tell it. I refuse to tell it. But when she gritted her teeth, and I was the youngest, so I got her when she was in her 20s and her 30s, and later on, and in her 40s and her 50s, she got so mellow. And I'm talking to my younger brothers and sisters, and I'm going, "This is not the same woman. This is not the same woman."
Well, and they knew the more mellow version.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Where you had the you were the oldest.
Yeah. You know what? I can make more, honey. And I was like, "Oh, geez." Okay,
we'll get the mics on so you can see the distinguished gentleman's fresh haircut.
Cameras.
The cameras. Yeah, sorry, the cameras. Distinguished gentleman is looking quite distinguished. Today? We're about to find out.
Yeah.
In about 35 seconds, I'm going to say, Keith, what do you want to talk about?
Oh, okay. So I got 35 seconds?
Yeah, you have 35 seconds, which for you is plenty of time.
Oh.
Look at I can see the wheels turning.
Look at you.
No, I mean, you think on your feet quickly. He's a smart man.
But I'm sitting.
J-Dubs, we can rock when you're ready, baby. Good Friday morning, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith. Thank you kindly for joining us. A pleasure to connect with you guys through the I Love Seville Network, presented today by Yes Realty Partners and Keller Williams Alliance. Yes Realty Partners, Keith and Yona Smith Shop. Just a aggregate of trust and character and experience and negotiation skill sets. And how about Forrest, that dog? Oh, my goodness. If you need someone to get you to the finish line, you got Yona's sensibility, you got Keith's negotiation skill set, and you got Forrest, the dog, who has a nose for the deal.
Yeah, Yona can negotiate the heck out of it. She does it in such a, I get passionate, right? And she's like so, it's that Germanic, that Austrian, just so calm.
Even keeled.
Oh, my God. So, what are we talking about today?
Keith Smith, there you see his face. First, let's give him props on the haircut.
I did.
You're going to give us a little...
His barbershop.
Ooh, Barracks Road?
Yeah, it's scheduling time for a haircut just doesn't kind of work for me, and rolled in, and
it?
It was great. There was nobody in the seats, and got a haircut and was in and out in 10 minutes.
What'd you guys talk about?
You.
Stop. What'd you guys talk about?
Fat dog.
Come on.
What the heck did we talk about? Grandkids, actually. Talked about grandkids, grandbabies. Real estate, of course, popped up. How's the market? Yada, yada, yada. The normal conversations. But we kind of focused on grandkids and how awesome it is to be a grandparent. You'll get there one day. It's a great thing. I 4 or 5 years ago, I would have told you, you're going to love this. Like, it's not that I loved it more than being a parent, but I kind of do.
Because you can give them back.
Yeah, you drive up for 8 hours. You love on them for a day.
They don't walk into your bedroom every morning at 5:45 every single day.
But that's Forrest though now. So
doesn't Forrest sleep in your room?
Yeah, we've got a.
You got a bed, right?
He sleeps in a crate.
A crate?
Yeah.
In your room?
Yeah, because that's where we got to put it.
Wow.
Don't ask.
Why? Because he would cry if he's not there?
No, just don't ask.
Okay, I won't ask.
Don't ask.
I won't
Please
ask.
don't Mrs. Smith, I know, is watching because she's waiting at the office to come pick me up at 11:30, so I have to be very careful.
Stephanie Wells Rhodes says,
Hey.
Amen, Keith Smith, on the grandkids.
Oh, my God. It is the best, and she's so fortunate to have him close by.
Oh, so fortunate, Stephanie.
And
So jealous, Stephanie.
yeah, I'm totally jelly. Our youngest is going to give birth on December 31st out in Seattle, so we're going to be out there for that. And they're planning to come back to Richmond, which is great. So that they'll be close. And the other one's up in Connecticut, and they're not moving anytime soon.
My in-laws, Stephanie, are coming for the birth of our second son.
That's right. That's coming up.
Our second son is due Thanksgiving Day. Thanksgiving Day.
Really?
My wife yesterday went to the, is it the OBGYN that you go?
Sure. I got
Okay.
a joke about that, but go ahead.
She went to the-
Not a joke, but a story.
Do you go to the OBGYN to check on your pregnancy?
I don't know.
I think that's what it is, right? Is that right, Stephanie?
I thought it said, oh, yeah.
You got two idiots right here trying to figure this out. Do you go to the OB? I should know this.
Yeah, you do.
I think it's the
GYN is something else, right? But I think they can be both. Do you know? He's laughing.
Do you go to the OBGYN to check on your pregnancy?
Hey,
Is
God,
that the
get in
doctor
on
you
this,
go to?
Get in this conversation. We may talk about real estate. Get on the.
He's going to have
he's
a
gonna
three-shot.
Google.
I know.
He's
He's
gonna
going to have the
Google.
3-shot and his mic turned on here.
Oh, okay.
Stephanie says, yes, fellas.
There you
Yes,
go.
yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you,
Stephanie.
Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie.
Speaking of which, interstate service company, your home's best friend.
Your home's best
Did
friend.
I do it right?
Oh, you did
There
it
you
right.
go.
That's a great tagline, a home's best friend, Interstate Service Company. She's also doing a great job of serving realtors through American Pest as
That's
well.
right. That's right.
So my wife goes to the OBGYN yesterday, and everything's, looking good, lined up, ready to
Yeah,
rock and roll.
Good. Glad to hear. Thank God.
The baby's in a good exit position, if you may.
Okay.
Ready for launch.
Remember, little ears.
Ready for launch, if you may. And where I'm going with this is my in-laws, who I love. My mother-in-law and father-in-law watch this show. They're Long Islanders. They're,
No. Say it right.
Long Island.
Nah, forget about it.
They.
But then you're going to ask me to say realtor. So
You
I
would
won't
love
do it.
them.
Yeah, sure.
You would absolutely
Yeah,
love them.
sure.
I can have.
I love you and your family, so I'm obviously going to
I
love
can
them.
have a couple drinks with my father-in-law. Smoke a cigar. My mother-in-law, same thing.
Cigar too, huh?
Well, she'll have a couple drinks.
Okay.
And just, pass the time talking with her. But they're coming in early November for a couple of months, staying at our house.
Good for you.
Yeah. So where I'm going with this is
Well, you got enough room, so that's working.
We do
out
have
great.
enough room.
Yeah.
We're fortunate. And I guess where I'm going with this is we're fortunate to have them visit.
Yeah.
But we also realize how lucky, having in-laws and parents in the area, and we don't have that. How fortunate that would be for the folks that have it. Stephanie, for example, is able to watch her granddaughter
Sure.
for much of the week while her beautiful
Sure.
daughter is teaching in schools.
Sure.
And I know she cherishes that time with her granddaughter.
Yeah.
Two granddaughters, Stephanie, I believe.
Yeah, it's great. I'll tell you though, for the ladies who are watching or listening, the debate Yona and I are having is how long do we stay? Now, I got to come back because I got to do the show, but Yona might stay longer and actually work I mean, I have to come back and work and do the show and stuff, but Yona might stay longer. And there's this whole debate on how long should you stay with the couple, right? Because they want to kind of bond with the baby. And if you're living with them, does that kind of get in the way a little bit? So there's two schools of thoughts on it. My mother, who's an expert because she has 5 children, says, yeah, say hello, go get an Airbnb, let them alone, let them bond with the child. So that's what we're going to do. But I'm just curious what the listening and viewing public thinks about that.
Nicholas Herpy, good morning, my friend.
Hey,
Kevin
Nicholas.
Yancey, good morning. Stephanie says, Yvonne with the...
Yvonne.
Yvonne, yeah.
Yvonne, yeah.
She
Yvonne.
says congratulations.
Thank you.
Stephanie must know Yvonne since
She does, yeah.
from the Lake Monticello days, I would imagine.
Sure, yeah. I hope so. Yeah, she does.
Well, I mean,
knows
she
it,
knew who
yeah.
your daughter was.
Yeah, sure. She knows. I think she knows both my daughters. actually.
December 31st, she is due.
Yeah, December 31st. Well,
New Year's Eve.
I think they're okay. I'm going to really screw this up.
2 holiday babies on the horizon.
Well, I think they're going to.
Induce.
Thank you. Induce.
Welcome.
Thank you. Induce.
I'm here.
I'm learning.
I'm here for
I'm
you.
learning.
I'm here for you.
learning.
They're going to induce beforehand.
Not sure exactly how that works, but that's what they're going to do.
Mustache Dan Pettit, welcome to the program.
Dan.
He says, good morning. He says, Jerry, what are you growing on your face? This is a beard.
I happen to think it looks very good
Thank
on
you
you.
very much. This is...
You're going to keep it close, right?
It'll
Yeah.
probably come off this weekend.
Got it.
I take it to the point where it starts getting itchy.
Yeah, there you go.
Then I shave it, start again.
I can't do it because it turns gray, and the whole acne thing. I got like holes and it's spotchy and
It's itchy.
It's itchy. And
Show Judah's beard. Judah, can we go to the 3-shot and a smile? Judah's looking rather distinguished.
I thought we were calling him God.
And well, when he's on camera, he's not God.
Got it.
It's
So-
only the voice of God when he's off.
Yeah, got it.
Judah,
so by the way,
ooh.
on real estate stuff, while we're chatting around,
Wave to your fans, Judah.
week over week. Remember, we've been talking about how that delta's been changing.
Yeah.
Actives versus it's actually on par. Well, close to par. 79 came on, 75 and pending. So it's kind of balanced out. So I think you're going to see this up and down roller coaster week to week.
Stephanie says Corinne, her oldest daughter,
Yes.
and Yvonne, your youngest daughter, were very good friends in elementary school.
Oh, cool. That's right. Well, the problem, Stephanie, when you reach of a certain age, remembering what you've done and things 24 hours ago is difficult. But sometimes I remember the stuff from like 25, 30 years ago. But yeah, thank you. Thank you for chiming in. Yeah, Stephanie, she's actually coming for Thanksgiving, which kind of got us a little panicking about flying.
Well, she's a month away from delivery.
But our son-in-law's a doc, so he's going to
Is he flying too?
Supposedly, yeah, that's the game plan.
Okay. So Thanksgiving is at your house?
We do 99% of the time Thanksgiving at our house. We used to do Thanksgiving and Christmas at our house.
Will we see a little James Watson there?
Oh yeah, for sure. The whole
Love you, James Watson.
the whole clan will be there. We'll be like 30 some odd people, more than that probably.
30 some odd Smiths.
Yeah,
Good
well, we're not
Lord.
all Smiths. Some
Well,
of
I
us
know
are
you're not, but
Watsons
still.
and but yeah, we're all Smiths. In some way, we're all Smiths, and yeah, and we all grab hands, we all say a prayer, we all tell each other we love each other, and then after that, Katie bar the doors. You're on your own.
Bill McChesney says this is what happens when ADD guys don't focus in Lamaze classes. This is a little zing to us. I thought that was funny. Bill, I thought that was funny. I'll give you some props for that. Bill. I thought it was
I
funny.
don't know. I got ADD. I forgot. What was he saying?
Dan Pettit's got a great stat of Lake Monticello.
Yeah, great. Please.
Stephanie, you're going to love this stat as well. So Lake Monticello is close to the Wells family, as at one time many of them lived there. I remember the first photo shoot we did for Interstate, Stephanie, that was at the lake.
They had a gorgeous, if I remember.
Mr. Wells had a fantastic
Yeah, by Beach Street, if
property on the water.
If I remember correctly, as soon as you come down to
Yeah.
Beach Street on the left, it was gorgeous.
spectacular
Still is
property.
gorgeous, but when they were there, it was gorgeous.
So here's Dan Pettit with the Lake Monticello statistic. Judah, you ready for this one as well? 30 homes on the market at the lake, with 26 in pending. We're starting to have a reverse. You're not buying that, Keith.
I'm checking it.
Oh, you don't believe him?
I believe Dan.
Dan Pettit's got a rental property at Lake Monticello.
Yeah, no,
Mustache Dan Pettit is also a realtor.
yeah.
Mustache Dan Pettit also has sound tennis mechanics and one of the best forehands in Central Virginia. His beautiful wife, a tennis standout as well. And one thing I've learned from Mustache Dan Pettit is do not play mixed doubles with your spouse.
Oh, well, we don't, Yona and I do almost everything together except for sports things.
Sports is challenging.
We do not do that. He's right, 24?
Bob Yarborough says
I'm looking at Lake Monticello. There's 24 active and 24 pending
24 active and 24 pending right now.
right now. Still, he's right, right? Last month, 2 months, 3 months ago, so on. Some of the actives were, 10, 12, 15. We're at 24. There's one with an active with a kick out. And let's see, do we got any new constructions in there? Two new constructions in there. So really it's 21. For those who don't know what an active with a kick out is.
Can I see if I can do it?
Yeah, sure. I'll drink my coffee.
Active with a kick out. So a piece of property that's for sale. The seller and the seller's agent have agreed upon a deal with a buyer and a buyer's agent, but oftentimes there's a contingency associated with it, like selling their house. So the seller's representative tells the buyer's representative, we will agree to your offer, but if we get a better offer that may not have a contingency in place, we're going to take that other offer. Is that active with the kick out?
Yeah, so it's a contract. It's a full-fledged contract. So you are in a contract, and in it has what's called a kick-out clause in it. So if you're under contract with it and I show up to Judah's property, let's assume it's Judah's property, and I have an offer, then you have 72 hours to remove your contingency. And generally, I don't know what it is because we would have to call and find out. But sometimes they are either the sale of another property, which is probably
It's usually what it is.
Is probably what the case is
Yeah.
here on that end of it, and
Which is
then
quite common.
Yeah, and and that's. So here's the liability or the risk of you putting an offer in and it getting accepted with a kick out. More than likely, depending on how the buyer of the original buyer is set up, is they're probably going to remove the contingency. Then now you don't have a deal, right? Your contract goes away. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So so it's generally overlooked, right? Depending on the buyer, right? So if we're trying to find a home that we can actually move in, that's great, because what's going to happen is I'm going to put a contract in on that house with a kick out, and what if something else pops up? Now you got to try to get out of that contract, right? Because you can't put you could put two contracts on two different properties, but if all of a sudden the kick out kicks in, you now just bought two houses.
Right. When I purchased my current house, my offer was accepted with a kick out, and the kick out we had was the sale of our current house. And what I noticed when the offer was accepted on the house we ended up buying in eastern Albemarle County was once the language was changed on the MLS under contract with a kick out, even though it stipulated kick out in that language, I noticed the traffic from the digital sites, completely diminished.
Yeah.
Because the folks didn't want to get involved with something
Well,
they already
it's
had.
exactly for the reason I said, right?
Yeah.
Now if this is the house and you're in love with it and there's nothing else that's ever going to pop up, right? Then cool, then that's what you do, right? You pray that the other side doesn't remove that contingency, whatever that might be. That's the kick out contingency. But then, if something else pops up, right, and, things are coming on the market, right, inventory is picking up. And back to Mustache Dan's, I just also took a look at
He says his figures are from the MLS from 1 hour ago.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it
And Neil Williamson says, Keith Smith, trust but verify.
That's right, Ronald Reagan. Met him a couple times, great guy. So I just pulled it right now, Lake Monticello, detached. It's 24 listing. There's 3 of them are two new construction, one one with the kick out, 24 pending. Unless I'll double check, Dan, unless I'm doing something wrong, but that's where we're at now. Sold I did year to date was 236. But the thing that's interesting, Dan, active median days on market are up to 34 days now. So the inventory's picking up a little bit. Dan and I have been around Lake Monticello for a long time. The rule of thumb was usually between 0.5% to 1% of the total number of units were on the market anytime. So we're kind of approaching that 0.5% point, right? Right. So 1% would be 45 homes, right? So that that's kind of the normal. Just to put it in perspective, we're 0.5%, less than 0.5% of 4,500 homes on the market.
I'm going to ask Mustache Dan Pettit a question. Dan Pettit, this is for you.
And I'll double check my criteria to make sure I'm right.
I think he wants you to do that. Bob Yarborough, I'm going to get to your comment on the Redfields house, the house in Redfields. Keith Smith, this is perfect for him.
Well, on Lake Monticello, real quick, just
please.
While Dan's listening.
Yeah.
I got active, all pending, all sold, detached, Fluvanna County, Lake Monticello, MLS listing coming soon, comps only. Unless I'm missing something, Dan, that's pretty much it. I think I got it right. Tell me if I did something wrong, please.
Yeah, tell me if you're doing something wrong here. Dan Pettit, I also want this question for you, Dan Pettit. You're a realtor. Have we entered buyer's market territory yet, Dan Pettit? Please put your thoughts in the feed. Have we entered buyer's market territory yet? This is a question for Keith Smith from Bob Yarborough. Mm-hmm. Bob Yarborough is...
Do I need a red pen or a black pen on this one?
This could be a black pen.
Got it.
This is a black pen. He's the king of Redfields.
Got it. So we're looking in Redfields now?
Yeah, he lives in Redfields.
Got it.
I previously lived in Redfields on Rockledge Drive. Arguably one of the best neighborhoods in Central Virginia is Redfields. Proximity to everything, amenities, walking trails, close to Wegmans, UVA, the bypass, the interstate downtown. It's an awesome neighborhood, family neighborhood.
Okay.
Bobby Yarborough says this, fellas, my neighbor's house here on Hayrake, and Hayrake, guys, is Hayrake Lane. Bob Yarborough says, my neighbor's house on Hayrake has been on the market all month long. They just knocked down the price by $20,000. Price reduction. It's the newest home on the street.
Is it attached or detached?
Detached.
Detached.
I'll give you, if you want the MLS number, I'll give it to you.
I think I got it here.
1001 Hayrake Lane.
Okay.
He says it's the newest home on the street. There was a house fire there in 2008, and it was rebuilt. He says it's 2,700 square feet.
Hayrake?
Yep, Hayrake Lane. $529,000 asking price. $20,000 reduction. Then he says, 3 months ago, this home sells in 2 weeks. Now this home is going through price reductions.
So
days on market, 37.
So we're looking at 1,000 Hayrake Lane?
1001 Hayrake Lane.
Okay, I got 1,000, not 1,000.
1001. I can direct message it to you if you want me to.
No, just shoot me the MLS.
Okay, let me see here.
Hold on a second. Let me go find it. Maybe there's two. I only found one Hayrake.
I'm going to Facebook DM you this.
Okay. Oh, I found it. I got it. I'm
you
good.
got it?
I'm good, yeah.
Okay. So $20,000 price reduction.
38 days on the market.
Days on market, 37, 38. Brand new home. I mean, I'm looking through these photos. Guys, I'll put the listing, I'll put the link in the comment section. I mean, this is a beautiful house.
Yeah, that started at 549. It's on the market 38 days.
Look at it. Look at the photos. It's beautiful.
I am. All righty. Just hang on.
So you want a little case study action?
Yeah, you know something, but there's another home right up the street on the market that is considerably less. That's sold.
I'm putting the link in the comment section of a handful of Facebook pages.
So 1,000 Hayrake Lane sold for $439. That was 1,800 square feet, and that sold.
We should highlight the fact that this is pretty much a new house. Fire in 2008, rebuilt from then.
Yeah, that might be scaring people away, period.
The house fire?
Yeah, it could. Yeah, it's what are we looking to do on the case study on that? That is it priced right? Is it not priced right? What questions are we
Here are the
trying
case
to-
studies. Why is it not selling? 38 days on market
Yeah.
in a popular, coveted neighborhood. The case study is, what's the sentiment shared by others on the street?
Well, it's a gorgeous home.
It's a gorgeous home. Bob Yarborough, what other questions you want answered here? Is this an indication of what's happening with the market?
No, I think I think it's just and again, we're doing this on the fly, right? So I think what this is this conversation we've been having about this hyper-local market, right? And it just might be a little bit overpriced for that location, maybe. I'd have to dig into it a little bit more, what is recently sold in that area, which I'll try to do as I'm speaking to everybody here. But it's a gorgeous home. Maybe they're just going in a little too high. And I can see the value there because it's brand new, renovated around the rest of the neighborhood. So while we're doing this, I want to take a look at what has sold in Redfield recently.
So here's a great tip from a viewer and listener of the show, and I empathize Megan Hart on your comment here. Megan Hart just put in the feed. Was it a house fire, Megan? She said, we lost our house this year.
Oh, God.
And we were underinsured.
Yep.
Rebuilding is so expensive right now.
Yeah.
So that's we empathize for her. And that's also a good tip.
It's not only a good tip, it's also one of the things you have to, most people do not know about their home insurance. It also doesn't include the foundation or anything that's kind of attached to the ground. And sometimes, and you're 100% right, we have on our house 100% replacement cost or whatever it is at that time. It's expensive insurance, right? So it's interesting. I'm looking at what's sold year to date in Redfield, right? There's 15 homes that sold. The median sales price was $465, 2,050 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths. I'd have to cross-reference what that house is. I don't have that up on the screen. But I just think, the highest price point that's sold in that Redfields since the beginning of the year was $660,000. But that was 4 bedrooms, 4 baths, 4,000 square.
Redfields had a 660
Yeah.
this year?
Yeah.
Did you hear that, Bobby Yarborough?
Yeah. So it was.
I used to live there.
Yeah. So it was one home. It was 670 Courtyard Court. Sold for $660, but it's 4,300 square feet. I'd have to look what that other home is.
The Hayrake house is 2,730 square feet, so smaller.
Yeah. So if we go by Woody Fincham's analogy, like he's coming back to square footage, so the medium square footage is 250, right, in that marketplace in there. Average is 236. So the medium's a little bit higher. So and the highest end was 316. So I don't have a calculator in front of me. So just out of curiosity, whatever that square footage is times 250, I just feel like it's a little bit.
You're saying it's not priced right.
Yeah. So look, this little home we put on Center Avenue, right? I've had
heart of the city. Needs TLC.
I'm up to my 30th showing. Multiple offers coming in on it. It's the right.
That home was priced fantastically.
Well, price
That's
matters.
your point.
So this is a great opportunity to talk about price matters. I don't think that one case is indicative of the market going one way or the other. I just think that based on that circumstances, they probably needed to put it at this price because of the comment about, hey, I didn't have enough money to finish my house, right? So I think if you actually dug down into it, I'm sure the number's legitimate.
Well, no, Megan's comment was about her house, not this house. Yeah.
But that's probably the same thing that happened there.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Okay.
Right? So maybe the replacement was whatever happened was way more than what the insurance could cover, and they needed to come up with the delta.
Understood.
Right, on
Understood.
that end of it, and that's what's driving the price more than the market. I'm making some wild assumptions here, guys, so I
All right,
did
so
stay at
I'm
Holiday
looking
Inn.
I'm looking at the transaction history. It's been sold a number of times since the remodel happened.
It has.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's been sold.
You're digging into it deeper
I'm
than I am.
yeah, doing a little dive. So it's been sold a number of times. The current, don't you guys just love digging into like the GIS,
Yeah.
into like the realtor
Maybe
app?
you and I love to
I
do
love
that.
it.
Not everybody, brother.
I mean, I think the viewers and listeners, I love it.
Of course, yeah.
So the current owners purchased the home in 2017 for $354,000.
So yeah.
They're currently asking $529,000 after a $20,000 reduction.
Yeah.
They came in at $549,000.
Yes.
So they were looking at. I mean,
So
they were looking to.
I won't throw any of my fellow professionals under,
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah. So, but just I'll talk about my listing, right?
Yeah.
So that was on the market at one point for $400,000. You know, it was an unrealistic price. It was never going to get that. We got the phone call and said, "Look, I need to sell the house. I need to sell it quickly. What's the right price? This is the right price." You know, they didn't want to hear that number, frankly, and I said, "Well, you know, that's the number, and the evidence is in it by the showing and the offers that we have on the table, and probably by the end of today, we'll have this thing wrapped up."
Yes,
under
Realty
contract.
Partners is on fire.
Well, it's pricing it right. So again, you're digging into the back end. I'm not. So I don't know how much they owe on it. Right. You can do a GIS search on that and see what the deed of trusts are on it. You know, they just may not be able to go there. Right. To that point, and that's okay. You know, that's a conversation we have to have. But it's not what I want. The takeaway from the conversation is this one-off is not indicative of how Redfields is going. What's indicative of how Redfields is going is these 15 sales that just closed this year. So in one subdivision, 15 homes closed this year with a median sales price of $465. And let's see what it did last year.
I would love to see that. Redfields has always been a hot neighborhood.
Yeah, it's a great location.
Great
man.
location.
Great location.
Yeah.
So while I change some numbers, if you wouldn't mind chatting a little bit, I'd appreciate that.
Absolutely. Viewers and listeners, put your comments in the feed. We'll relay them live on air. We love to do case studies and take a look at topics that matter to you, topics that you've been thinking about maybe at the dinner table, over coffee with your spouse, or on the group chat with some friends.
Or questions you want to ask Batman and Robin.
And
on
if you
Monday.
want Batman and Robin to answer any questions, we're happy to do that as well. Interestingly, Keith and yours truly, me, will not be here on Monday.
Yeah, we'll be trick-or-treating.
We're being replaced by men wearing spandex that used to think that they were in better shape than they currently are now.
What movie? Oh, come on, Neil, help me out. What movie was Men in Tights? Men. Was it Men in Tights?
I think it's Men in Tights.
That's the name of the movie.
Yeah, I think it
Men
was the
in
name of the
Tights.
movie.
There you
Was
go.
it not Men in Tights?
I think
Judah?
it's Men in Tights.
Judah's looking? Neil Williamson?
Judah's not paying attention.
I think Judah is
No,
paying
it's Men in
attention.
Tights.
I just put up a picture of you guys.
Oh, Batman and Robin?
Not you guys. Some other guys.
Yeah.
What is the matter? Look at the screen. Everyone look at the screen. What is the matter with Robin's mask?
So,
Batman looks very professional except for that armpit sweat.
dude,
It was serious.
Batman has told me that spandex gets warm.
No, yes it does. Yes it does.
Redfields, same period, 2021, 19 units were sold, so we're a few units over this year. Median sales price in Redfields this time last year was $450. I can't remember the number for this year. I have to go back and look at that. $279, 6 days on market. The typical 2.5 bath, 2,279 square feet, $192.50 square foot, price, 6 days on market. So I think year over year, we're actually a little higher than 450 if I remember the number correctly.
More on this case study.
Sure.
This is from Jeremy J. Fair. And we also have the talented architect, hold on one second, Jeff. Jeff Stees watching the program.
Hey.
Jeff Stees, hello. He's an architect. He's watching on Twitter. I love
Hey.
when you comment, Jeff. I do not believe, in fact, I know Redfields well, Jeff. I used to live there. I would not say that the neighbors are the issue for this house selling, and I would not say that there's a junked car in the backyard or loud dogs either.
No, but as an architect, if he looks at that, my first reaction was, in order to get into the first floor, you got to walk up a full flight of steps. So the way it's positioned on the lot, right, and that may be indicative of it, right? We talk about location, price, features, conditions, and timing.
Yeah.
And then who's on the other side matters.
Yeah.
If you look at the pictures, you need to walk up a full flight of steps to get to the main level.
Jeff, I'll share the link for the listing in the Twitter thread you and I are commenting on. I just sent it to you, and I'm seeing other folks that are asking for it as well. This is
Wow.
more.
So 2020, let me make sure I got this right. 2020, 21, the median sales price was $450, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2,200 square feet, $192.50 a square feet. This year, now there was a couple units less. This year, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, 2,100 square feet. We're going to call that close on that. 4 days on the market, which is 2 days greater than last year. Did I get that count right? It's 2 days, right? 465, so we're up 15 grand, and the price per square foot is up to 250. So, couple 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 4 units. That was me being a Marine, by the way. That's what these digits are for. 4 units sold less, but we're up 15 grand, and we're up on a price per square foot. So I just don't think I think there's some features and conditions. I think the condition is awesome. I think the features is a little bit off, which is impacting the price. And I got a feeling they're going in just a little hot, but I may be wrong.
Bill McChesney says Robin Hood Men in Tights.
Men in Tights.
It's a Mel Brooks movie.
That's right.
Harry Tyson, your son-in-law, is watching in Connecticut.
Hey.
He's commenting on my beard. Good morning, Harry Tyson.
I
We
hope,
love when
I
you
hope
watch
it's
the show.
positive. He's got an awesome beard.
He just said, hey, are you growing a beard, Jerry? I said, it's a little bit of me being lazy because I despise shaving, and me utilizing November and Movember a bit early to grow the beard, despite my wife disliking it. I have an auctioneer who's watching the show. We do. His name is Jeremy J. Fair. He's the owner-operator at Fair Auction Company and Fair Market Vintage.
Oh,
He's
cool.
got a comp. He says, get ready for your MLS here.
Oh, okay.
He says 670 Courtyard went pending on September 5th.
Is that in Redfield?
Yeah.
Okay.
Courtyard's in Redfield.
And that's this year.
Yep. 670 Courtyard went pending about a month and a half ago. Good Lord, that's a month and a half ago. And then he says this, Keith.
I don't see a 670 Courtyard. Oh, yes, I do. Right here. Sorry.
He says, did the market in public perception change after September 5th? He says, this is a fantastic comp to the listing Bob Yarborough shared on Hayrake, except for the garage.
And you got to walk 13 steps to get to the first floor. It is not actually, I think, comparable home.
Ooh.
This is all first floor, right? I know this house. I've shown it. I've actually sold the one up the street from it. So this is very much so an empty nester, first floor, master bedroom on the other one. I got to pull it back up. Even if the master bedroom's on the first floor, I'm still walking up a flight of steps to get there, right? And so you're going to take that buyer pool right out of the picture. This home, literally, you walk one step from your driveway into the main level, or maybe 2 steps from the garage to the main level. And people of a certain age, nod, nod, wink, wink, like that a lot. Versus
So you're saying, although
it cuts your buyer pool down.
yeah, you're saying
Big
this
time.
is not a boomer's house.
No, the other home is not nowhere unless you've got an elevator in there or something like that. But
I don't think there's an elevator.
there is not. I looked at the
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah.
And I put several of them in. It's doable. It was also about 30, 40 grand on a residential installation. But you can put an elevator in. But so just keep in mind, that has a drive under garage. So I'm driving
Are you
under
talking hay rake?
hay rake. Then you've got to carry your groceries up a set of stairs or up a set of stairs in the front. And I think that's the big thing. So the buyer on that.
He says Jeremy thinks the family will probably use the side door to get in.
You still got to walk up a hill to get there. You got to walk uphill one way or the other to get there. And so I'm just 35, and I'm just talking as an empty nester, boomer,
With 35 years of experience.
and I would not buy a home that I have to walk up a set of steps to get to my master bedroom. And there's a lot of buyers will do that. So this is what's the name of it?
Hay rake.
Hay rake is probably a family, right? Correct? So with kids and all that stuff. And maybe, again, I think it just might be a tad overpriced for what you're buying, right? But it's also at 7% expensive versus Courtyard.
September 5th, we're probably looking at a 6% rate on September 5th versus 7 plus. You probably have a delta of over a full point September 5th versus now. with
Yeah,
the
so that was
interest
a
rate.
conventional loan on
Courtyard.
Courtyard.
20% down?
I can't. I'd have to dig into the GIS of it. And by September, it's not going to show up in the tax records this quickly.
So you say the buyer pool is just very narrow for hay rake, and that's why it's either
I think
slightly overpriced and the buyer pool is narrow because of those steps.
So the location is excellent, right? The subdivision is excellent,
Cul-de-sac.
right?
You got great neighbors in Bobby Yarborough and Stacy.
The cul-de-sac, great something. So conditions and features are impacting price, or price impacts features and conditions, right? Those things interchange with each other. You can't change the where. The where is the where, right? The location is the location. So I think that price is being impacted by features and conditions. The renovation by the pictures is excellent, but I just think those steps, this is just my opinion, just a guy that sits in a chair with a microphone and a camera.
Well, your opinion's valued.
But
What do you think about this, Bob Yarborough? What do you think about what he's saying, Bobby Y?
Yeah, so the mortgage history in the GIS for the Courtyard property, it hasn't been updated yet because it goes back. Let me see. Hold on a second.
It's
here.
still fresh.
Yeah. It's a 2020 mortgage. Then that loan amount at that time was $222,000. So it hasn't hit, but they bought it originally in 03 for $274.
This is a good question from Kelsey.
Hey, Kelsey.
We also have lived in Redfields. We've always said that Redfields is one of the most popular, if not the most popular neighborhood in the urban ring.
I would agree with
Please
that.
ask Keith this question. She wants to know what you think is the most popular Albemarle County neighborhood in the urban ring. I mean, Redfields has got to be up there.
Yeah, so
Normally, the history with Redfields is they come on the market and they sell immediately.
you have to we have to define.
The neighbor of Hayrake says, I agree with Keith. The steps and driveway uphill cut out a chunk of the buyer market.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And so that in combination,
You're doing a good job.
well,
35 years of experience.
yeah. You told me once, more than once, man, I tell you, you're so good at this, and you say you've been doing it for 20-something years. So, if I'm not good after 35 years.
You're excellent.
Thank you.
But I just distracted you. I apologize.
You did,
Yeah.
ADD, thank you
Yeah.
very much. I got it back, though. The siding of the house on the property is impacting the buyer pool, right? That's set of stairs, that's driveway, that kind of thing. Plus the interest rate. So you're pulling out Keith and Yona, right? That I can sell my house, have we're very fortunate, a substantial amount of money, and I can walk in there and buy that, if not all for cash, awfully close to all the cash. Courtyard, I could have done the same thing, right? So, and that's a home that I would jump on because great neighborhood, It's set up perfect. I can live on the main level. Grandkids and grandbabies come. They're in the other rooms. You know, after 3 days, we make them leave because, you know, that whole fish and guest thing, right? No, we don't.
Harry Tyson's watching.
Hey, Harry. Well, that's right. I'm only allowed to stay there to Sunday. Yona's flying up today to Monday, but I'm allowed to drive
Harry's
up today.
watching.
I know that.
We love you, Harry.
I know that. I
I feel like I know you, Harry.
I'm going to go out with Buzz Lightyear and Shark Girl on Saturday. So I'm excited about it.
So
Batman was almost going to make an appearance up there, but I decided that would be a bit of a distraction. Nobody wants to see
What, Batman in Connecticut?
Batman was gonna, but I think Batman said he's busy studying housing stats for his appearance on this show on Monday.
Harry Tyson, how would you have felt if Batman had made an appearance at your house while riding the bicycle around the area?
I have the bicycle in the back.
I know
of the
you do.
truck.
You don't. I've noticed with your truck, that bike is on the truck.
I do that. So I in the middle of the day,
It's on the truck.
I was on the
Oh, you got photos of the truck?
me on the bike.
Batman on the bike.
Oh, put them on there. Look at Alfred.
That's not fair, guys.
That's
I can't
the voice
see
of
that.
God. I mean, I
You
don't
gotta
think
put your
anyone heard it
microphone in
besides
front
me
of
and Keith.
Batman on a bike.
Thank you. Batman on a bike. We're still working on that.
Yeah. It's okay.
There we go. Is
Look,
that Connecticut? Is that Keith in Connecticut?
No, I think that's some random dude
That's a rando.
on a bike. Yeah, but I'll tell you what. I'll talk to Batman and see if Batman on Monday's willing to get on his bike, Keith's bike, and we can take a picture of that and share it. How's that sound?
Well, that sounds good.
But I get a bike ride in every day in town.
I'm going to have a conversation with Robin, and evidently Robin is relaying to the American public that he will be baby-faced, clean-shaven on Monday.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we've ever seen Robin
I was
with
just thinking.
scruff.
I was just thinking. By the way, Batman may have a mustache that looks just like
Yeah.
this.
I've never seen Batman with a mustache, but you know what? This particular
This
Batman,
one might have a mustache.
this
that looks
particular
like
Batman
that.
can wear
'Cause
whatever
I
facial
sure as
hair he
hell-
wants.
Batman sure as hell ain't shaving off his mustache unless he loses the bet with Neil Williamson.
This is a great comment by Bob Yarborough, the king of Redfield, shaped today's show. We got another case study coming here
Yeah,
from someone else, but Bob says this. He says, I'm going to say that this is a young couple's home on Hayrake,
Agree.
and the price and the current interest rate
We're
may
on-
just beyond a young couple's grasp.
We're literally on the same page. That's kind of where it's at. It's not the house, and that's the point. It's not that the home isn't valued at that right now. It's just the buyers that are available to buy that home just probably can't make it. I'll tell you, if it was at 3%, we wouldn't be having
Yeah,
this.
it'd be all
we would
day,
literally-
every day.
We would literally not be having this conversation. So, you know, it's just a little bit, you know, the buyer pool of the family that can buy that is smaller than on Courtyard. And Courtyard, you know, that appeals to both sides. We've been talking about this, I think, for years, right? The two buyer profiles right now is the entry-level millennial, internet, you know, that are making, you know, X amount of dollars, and then that Keith and Yona, right? And that's what we're kind of competing for the same. Not kind of, we are competing for the same product.
Kevin Yancey says, and
Hey,
looking
Kevin.
at these two pictures, can you put the pictures back on screen of Batman and Robin, rotate them around? He says, are either one of you 6 foot tall? I think you're 6 foot, aren't you?
Yeah, very.
I told him I'm only 6 feet tall when I'm standing on 2 phone books.
Yes, but time out. Robin was always a little bit shorter.
Robin was.
Oh, and
What is the matter with Robin in that photo? Why? The mask on Robin is a major issue there.
So I used to be 6'2".
You
I'm
shrunk a
now-
little bit.
Well, when you break 12 vertebrae in your back and your back is falling apart, you lose. That's what I got going on health-wise. You lose it. So I'm now down to 5'11". So technically, Batman on Monday is not going to be 6 feet.
Well, Batman will have boots on to push him over 6 feet.
Yeah. Well, we won't give away secrets on it, but they're not actually boots.
Ke-
They're fake boots.
Kevin Yancey, I ran into Litza last night. Passed that along to you. Your name came up, my friend. Daniel Pettit, the house you were talking about with many steps in front, even if a first floor master, it does create less buyer interest and does create buyer's advantage in negotiating price for this home, baby boomers especially. It's what you're saying here. I mean, basically here's a perfect case study here. Keith Smith, another agent, an auctioneer, the neighbor next door to this house have all identified that entering this house is steps to get in.
It's the feature component, right? The condition is great. I mean, the construction and the tile work and everything that I'm buzzing through it is freaking awesome. It's gorgeous. But the features of it, right? Walking up a set of stairs and that, I think that's making a difference. My suspicion is, I'd have to, I'm not in that listing at the moment, and, you can easily, a little hint out, what do we call them, house hacks out for folks. Buyers can figure out how much the seller paid for it, and they can use trusted advisors to help them do that. You can, because I'm looking in my MLS, I click on a button and it gets me directly into it, and I can figure out what the mortgage, what the mortgage started at that home on that. So what was the one that the case study, the original case study? I'm on 3 different.
1001 Hayrake Lane.
Thank you.
1001 Hayrake Lane. I'll tell you what, if we keep talking about this, we might get this home sold this weekend.
Well, here's the deal. They may not be able to go there, right? They may not be able to go to the price that it needs to go because of some loan situations. So let's see something here. So there was a loan in 2000, so we're not saying anything out of school. This is all public records, right? And that's the point I'm trying to make. Anybody can look on your public records and find out what your mortgage was, what my mortgage was.
Tell them what you're on.
Excuse me?
Tell them what website you're on.
So we have one built into, it's a public access, but you can do it on GIS, or you can pull up the tax data. You can just, go into the county that it's in and actually pull up the tax information. We have, as part of what we pay for our dues with the National Association and CAR, there's a software that consolidates all the public information. So there was a mortgage in 2019 for $318,750. So technically, there's room, unless there's some other loan on there that's not showing up in the public records, right? The reason it shows up in the public records when you do a loan is a thing called the first deed of trust, right? And it's a recorded document. And since 19 to now, unless they were making some serious advancement in payments, they really didn't eat too much of that 318 since 2019 and now.
So what's that tell you?
Yeah, so it tells me there's some room in the number. And it may be a situation similar, but we don't know what their personal circumstances are, right? Only they do, and their listing agent knows that on this end of it. But I'm just looking at the public data that's available to us right now, and there's, there could be room. They maybe can't go there for other reasons that are not available to the public. But, if that number was 518 or 48, some other number, they may not be able to go there without going into a short sale or something like that.
This question, remember, Kelsey's asked you to bring it up again. Most popular neighborhoods in the urban ring in Albemarle County.
Yeah, thanks for bringing me back there, Kelsey. So what I was thinking when the question was originally asked, defining the urban ring, it means different things to different people, right? What I think the urban ring is versus what the formal from Albemarle County and Neil Williamson can help us with that. It's also a matter of what you want, right? Personally, I like Belvedere, but that's me. And why do I like Belvedere? Because I can go to the center, the senior center, right? It's got some great stuff. And oh, by the way, you only have to be 50 to get in there, so that you know.
You can get in.
I may or may not have a membership there.
I was actually at Belvedere for a party this past weekend. It is a fantastic neighborhood.
I love Belvedere.
That was my first time.
Oh yeah, I love Belvedere.
It was well manicured. You have not only the center, but you have SACA, that soccer facility. You have that big field in the center.
Stanley Martin Homes, one of our great sponsors, built something, and we've sold one, two, three, four. We sold 6 of them over there. They did a little section over there of these villas, these duplexes, all single level down. You know, they're in the $600,000 to $800,000 range. But you know why I like, and this is,
Close to everything.
I can get on my bike,
Bicycle?
and literally be right downtown. But I'm technically in the urban ring. Now, if I was a young family and I wanted to be in the urban ring, Redfields would probably be on my list, right? That doesn't mean Belvedere would not be on my list, right? You know, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 8 clients waiting for something to come up in Dunlora or Belvedere, and they're not coming up. As soon as they come up, they'll go off. And every one of those buyers are my age and up on that end of it.
Dan Pettit
I
says...
hope that helped a little
I
bit.
think that did help. Dan Pettit says he rechecked his Lake Monticello figures, and he is correct.
Okay.
MLS of all active and pending at Lake Monticello.
So what was his numbers? Because not that we're gonna get into this over live.
A talk show.
A talk show.
Yeah.
But I don't remember his numbers. His numbers. He's not showing 24 units active.
Kevin Yancey says Ashcroft or Greenbrier as options in the urban ring. I believe Greenbrier's city of Charlottesville.
It could very well be.
I think Greenbrier's
It's-
city. Ashcroft is one. I will say this, Kevin. The price points of Ashcroft versus Redfields are not necessarily comparable.
I would agree with that.
Redfields is much more of
It's also the where is where do you want, if you're a young family, which school you prefer, right? That could impact the where a little bit on it. I was talking about it from my perspective.
he left a comment 43 minutes ago. 30 homes on the market at the lake with 26 in pending
I don't know.
is the comment he left.
I don't.
And he's, it looks like he's in front of the MLS now. And he also wants to get some thoughts on the Raintree neighborhood and the Northfields neighborhood.
We are going to have to talk to Dan because
And Bob Yarborough goes, I got to run from Redfields. I love the show. I'm running to a nearby grocery store. It's only 5 minutes away from Redfields.
and he's running. How's he going to carry the stuff back?
I think he's driving. I think he means he's running to his car.
No,
to go
what
to
he
the grocery
needs to do is get himself a rad electrical bike that he can put stuff in it. And
Bob, I could see Bob on an electric bike.
Yeah.
Bob is a craft beer connoisseur, a music aficionado. He's got fantastic beard game. He is a wordsmith and just an all-around likable guy. Just a likable, cool guy. Beautiful wife, gorgeous daughter, Bobby Yarborough. I can follow you around if you want me to all day long. Folks are asking your take on the Mill Creek and Lake Renovia. See, the beard's already starting to get itchy.
I can see that.
Yeah, that's when it comes off for me.
Yeah.
Once it starts, I start scratching, and I'm like, I got to get this thing off my face.
Well, I'm sure your wife will be very
Why
happy.
is it that? Why does it do that?
Do I look like a doctor?
Does your mustache not itch?
But I've had this, literally, this has been on my face since 1985.
So it doesn't
So-
itch?
No, I've been beyond that itchy stage. That if you were to, God, can you chime in, please? Right, after a while, it stops itching, right? Anybody who has a beard, chime in. You have to
Is your mic on?
you have to go through this itching
Yeah.
stage, right? And then after that, you're done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
So
that
you
what it is?
Yeah, it doesn't last forever.
Yeah, it doesn't last forever. I mean, I occasionally will scratch my beard, but for the most part, it doesn't really
Well, that's when
itch.
you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
Multiple people are asking me if I bathe. Yes, I bathe. Yes, I shower. I do shower.
Whoa, this is getting personal.
I shower.
Wow.
They're also saying, Kevin says body wash with lotion. Grayson says, make sure you shower. Jerry, I shower a few times a day. I over shower.
Yeah, that's wrong.
You don't shower? How often do you shower?
Like a normal person, once a day, or if I go, so you work out, right? So you
Yeah.
shower after workout.
Most days it's 3 showers.
Yeah.
I shower in the morning.
Yeah.
I shower after working out.
If you have
Sometimes
a
I shower before
conversation
bed.
with some people that I know in Europe, they only shower like every other week. Excuse me,
That's
every
gross.
other day. Yeah, I mean that's
Every other week?
no, every other day. I meant to
Oh.
say. So hey, look, God, I've got a
yes?
I've got a yes.
Yes, Keith.
I need you to remind me. I've got a hard stop because I have to take Mrs. Smith to the airport at
What?
12.
Hard stop on a Friday?
I have a hard stop on a Friday. I love
In
you, but I
7
love
minutes.
Mrs. Smith way more than you do.
What?
Yeah, so I've got a hard stop coming up in about.
Man, that hurts my feelings.
But you've got a beard, so I'm totally in your wife's category for two very different reasons. But
Bob Yarborough says, I'm running down all my stairs first. Kate Sharts. Kate, I love when you watch the program. Kate, you need a nickname on the show. I'm going to call you the, do we have a Queen of Ivy yet? I don't think we have
No,
a Queen.
no.
We don't have a Queen
I
of
haven't
Ivy.
heard that.
Kate Sharts, you have a new moniker. And your new nickname on any of our talk shows is going to be the Queen of Ivy. The Queen of Ivy, Kate Sharts has this comment. Jerry, you have to shave it before the baby comes. I'm guessing your wife won't love it in all the hospital pictures. You're 100% right, Queen of Ivy. You're 100% right. It will come before.
but look here. The reality of it is Mrs. Miller said it's going.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and you know that has a lot of pull.
You think?
That has a lot of pull. Jeremy, who's a new commenter on the show, and so is the Queen of Ivy here. Jeremy says this, Keith, in your experience, when new construction pops up in an area, do older homes nearby lose potential buyers at a similar price point, or is it all about the mortgage payment? That's a great question.
That is a great question. I've got about 10 minutes before I have to go, and that's really a show into itself. So
I will say this, when the new construction left Glenmore, you did comment on this show that that's good for all existing construction in Glenmore.
yeah, so
That was the Jeff Gaffney show.
yeah, totally. Which was an awesome show.
It was an
by the way.
awesome show.
I can't wait to get him back.
Yeah.
The where matters, right? So if I'm going to brush off real quickly, try to make this as concise as possible.
You?
Well, Mrs. Smith already texted me. You promised me we'd
Okay,
be
you're
done
right.
at 11.
All right. And
I'm telling you.
she has a flight to catch.
We got to make it to the airport by 12 o'clock.
Okay.
But the short version of that is the pendulum moves depending on the size of the subdivision and where we're at in building. So what I mean by that is, so in the beginning, right, let's say I build a house today and we're in a subdivision that's a 10-year build out. I'm just picking a number, right? And I buy it now and I want to sell it 5 years from now and there's 50% of the houses, new construction that get back, you are competing against new construction. When that pendulum goes the other way, right, where there's a small percentage of new construction, then new construction is competing against the existing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're on point.
So it depends on where the subdivision is at that pendulum switch, and the smaller the subdivision is, it doesn't impact it as much, because if it's a small subdivision, it's probably custom anyway. But if you take something like Redfields, right? When Redfields got started, right, it was a lot of slots, a lot of things. A couple of houses got built. If you went to go hit the resale and there was plenty of new construction going on, why would you buy a house that was 5 years old when you can buy a new house? Now, price might make a difference, right? We've got a little bit of a delta right now between new construction and resale on it, but that's historically not been the case. It's been usually close, a few percentage points difference on that end of it. But I hope that helped in the question.
Cully Baggett is watching the program. Cully, you need a nickname. Cully, I think this is your first comment on Real Talk. He's commented on some of our other shows, and you need to hear this comment. Seriously.
Do I need a pen?
Yes. And I would encourage you to write this name down. Cully, Culley, Baggett, Baggett. I'll give it to you again. Culley,
That's a cool last name.
Baggett.
Cool first name, too.
He says, Keith, I have a few of the last remaining lots in Belvedere.
Ooh,
Maybe Keith and I should talk.
sure.
I was going to save them and build some specs, but I'm sitting tight right now and seeing how things go. Would possibly be interested in some pre-sale builds if he has some buyers on a waiting list.
Let's
I tagged you in his comment.
yeah. So
You guys should DM.
So Cully.
Cully Baggett. We're going to call you the king of Greene County. I
Oh,
believe that's where he
but
lives.
now, at the moment, he's going to be the king of Belvedere.
There you go.
Cully, if you want, you can just put my phone number right in it. It's 434-531-0795. Send me a text and we'll
Wow,
get
sharing
we'll
the
get
phone
together.
number.
It's all over the place.
Yeah, it is all over the place. Shoot him a DM.
Thanks to you.
Yeah.
But it's all over the place. Yeah. Yeah, that's a great question. We'll talk about that. We'll have to think about that. You know,
You guys might have a deal here.
well, it depends on the where and all this stuff. But let's connect and we'll talk.
So Cully, you guys connect. This question's come in. What's your hard stop? I'm trying to keep up.
My hard stop,
Is it right now?
11:30. I need to be out the front door.
Out the front door at 11:30?
Maybe 11:35. I'll just say Jerry made me stay.
What? Don't blame this on me. Yona, should he leave right now, Yona? You have my phone number. Text me.
Yeah, let's do a wrap up here, if
Okay.
you don't mind. But
Text.
possibly,
All right. All right. We're wrapping the show.
she'll send in
Oh, I
Forrest to come
have
get
no
me.
doubt. I have no doubt.
Yeah. She, unlike Keith, right? When you're supposed to be somewhere, she's there. Sometimes, I have a little bit of a fudge factor in time on the end of it.
Well, and you're going to be hauling ass to the airport. You're just going to make up the time that you spend here behind the wheel.
And
I would imagine that makes her a little nervous.
You think?
No.
I'm actually a great driver.
That's very similar to
I am a great
the
driver.
dynamic of
I have
my beautiful wife and I.
I have all kinds of training about that.
Monday's show. Tell them. We're wrapping up, Yona, I promise.
Yeah, so it's not a rumor. It's been confirmed. Batman and Robin will be here, and
Keith and Jerry will not be here on
we
Monday.
will not be here on Monday. So what we need to do is we need to continue these case studies because we're going to try to stump, or somebody's going to try to stump Batman and Robin, and see if the Cape Crusaders can talk real estate. What do you think?
I thought that was brilliant. Batman and Robin
Did you
on
just
Monday's
say
show.
it was brilliant? I
I think that was
got
brilliant.
a brilliant.
Batman and Robin on Monday's show.
And Alfred.
And Alfred.
And Bat Dog.
Spandex, mask, capes included.
I'm just wondering how Batman's going to be able to see all this
Have
stuff.
you asked Batman if he's tried on his costume recently?
I have from a very reliable source that he has.
Okay, so the costume fits, Batman?
Batman has lost a little bit of weight.
Okay,
and
so
it's
Batman's feeling more confident.
feeling more confident.
This time last year, Batman was a little...
Pudgy. It's the mask. Batman has an issue with the mask.
I wasn't going to say pudgy.
Pudgy. I was pudgy.
I was going to say
I was.
less confident
Excuse me, I
putting
was.
on the
Batman was.
spandex.
Yeah, it was. It Yona said you look. Batman looked kind of like a sausage.
Oh, God. Brandon and Kristen Harrop, I'm so pumped for Monday's show. Have a good weekend, and good God, end the show. Keith has got to go.
Thank you, Brandon, for taking care of one of our wonderful sponsors. So please hire, if you want a photographer, hire Brandon. He'll take care of you.
Oh, that was so good.
But I'm going to get fired from Mr.
All right,
Smith here in a few
That's
minutes.
the show. This is Real Talk with Keith Smith. The show is archived on realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Go to the studio camera so they can see this fantastic logo. If you want to see the trusted partners in real estate, click the Partners tab
Please.
on realtalkwithkeithsmith.com, and you will see the brands and the businesses that you can trust to deliver the goods on the real estate supply chain. Keith Smith is going to be going over the speed limit as he drives to Charlottesville Albemarle Airport with his beautiful 7/8 Yona Smith.
Get out of the truck. Do a kicker.
My name is Jerry Miller for Judah Wickower. This has been an enjoyable show. Everyone, the I Love
thank
Seagull
you, guys.
show
It
is
was a
up
lot
in
of
1
fun.
hour. Take care. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was well watched.
Yeah.